Hello and welcome to Nltv News Now. This is Johanna Muri and we'll start with the headlines. In a bid to bring the Naga political process back on track, Chief Minister Nifirio, Deputy CM Y Patan and UDA Chairman TR Zileng met Union Home Minister Amit Shah on Tuesday in New Delhi. The trio discussed ongoing negotiations on peace talks besides process various issues concerning the state. Nagaland Chief Minister Nifirio once again reiterates that he wants an early settlement to the Naga political issue that has been impending for a while now. The Chief Minister said that the people of Nagaland are demanding a solution to the issue and his government is playing the role of a felicitator. During his visit to New Delhi, Chief Minister Nifirio on Tuesday held meeting with Railway Minister Nltv Vishnava and Education Minister Dharmendra Pradhan. During his meeting, several matters for the welfare of Nagaland and improvement of connectivity and expanding railway network discussed. Nagaland government on Tuesday tells before the Supreme Court of agreeing to implement 33% reservation for women in civic bodies. The state government informs the apex court of adopting a resolution during consultative meeting held on March 9 to go ahead with the 74th amendment giving reservation of 33% to women. Northeast Students Organization urges Union Home Minister Amit Shah to withdraw the unfavorable policy of making Hindi a compulsory subject in schools up to class 10 in 8 northeastern states. NEA saw an amalgamation of 8 union students' bodies from the region instead calls for further upliftment and indigenous language of the region. Now the news in details. In a bid to bring the Naga political process back on track, Nagaland Chief Minister Nifirio, Deputy CM Y Patan and UDA Chairman TR Zileng met Union Home Minister Amit Shah on Tuesday in New Delhi. According to reports, the trio have discussed the ongoing negotiations on the Naga peace process besides various issues concerning the state. It has been learned that during the meeting, Union Home Minister expressed concern over negotiations not moving towards finality despite the framework agreement signed between the Centre and the National Socialist Council of Nagaland NSCN-IM back in 2015. Interestingly, the development comes days after NSCN-IM once again trained its guns on confusion created by Ravi for the talks going back off track. The peace process hit a roadblock after the relations between NSCN-IM and the Naga interlocutor RN Ravi soured in 2019-20, with each blaming the other for the process getting installed. NSCN-IM has reiterated that framework agreement was clear that India and Nagaland will coexist as a sovereign entities, and thus it was agreed that it would have its own flag and constitution. Notably, Rio and the 15-member delegation comprising members of Nagaland Legislative Assembly are camping in New Delhi over past few days to chalk out the roadmap for an early solution to the Naga peace process. Earlier, the Parliamentary Committee on Naga Political Issue held meetings with NSCN-IM and 7 NNPGs before leaving for national capital. With Nagaland government delegations led by Chief Minister Nifirio is camping in Delhi for resolving the Naga political issue ahead of the 2023 Assembly elections, Chief Minister Nifirio once again reiterated that he wants an early settlement to the issue that is impending for a while now. The Chief Minister said that people of Nagaland are demanding a solution to the issues and his government is playing the role of a felicitator. He further added that to bring peace and harmony in the state, the matter needs to be resolved as soon as possible as the issue has remained unsolved for a very long time. Rio also said that the government cannot be immune to the status of peace process, although it was not a party to it. As an elected government, his government has to do all that it can to felicitate a people's issue. Notably, the statement on the peace talk is over NSC and IM's insistence on a separate flag and a Naga constitution for the unreversed. Nagas in general want an inclusive settlement between the center and the two blocks of extremist groups. The National Socialist Council of Nagaland, or the Isaac Muiva fraction of the NSC and IM, comprises one block, while on the other hand a conglomerate of the least 7 outfits that called Naga National Political Groups NNPGs. The NSC and IM, which declared a ceasefire in 1997, signed the framework agreement with the center in August 2015. The center signed another agreement called the Agreed Position with the NNPGs 2 years later. Chief Minister Nltv on Tuesday met Railway Minister Ashwini and Education Minister of India Dharmendra Pradhan. Furthermore, Rio thanked Ashwini for his assurance on improving connectivity and expanding railway network, while he also discussed several matters for the welfare of Nagaland with Dharmendra Pradhan. The Nagaland government on Tuesday told the Supreme Court it has agreed to implement 33% reservation for women in civic bodies. The state government told a bench of Justice S.K. Kaul and M. Surendresh that a resolution has been adopted that in this regard a consultative meeting held on March 9, where all stakeholders were present. The State Council told the bench that a resolution was passed affirmed by the Chief Minister and the others that Nagaland should go ahead with a 74th amendment, giving a reservation of 33% to women. The court had earlier banged the Nagaland government over the delay to enforce reservations for women in the state's urban local bodies, saying an important aspect of gender equality seems to be getting postponed. The Northeast Students Organization wrote a letter to Union Home Minister Amit Shah on Monday. NESO on its letter expressed that its strong opposition to the proposal in the recently concluded Parliamentary Official Language Committee meeting to make Hindi compulsory till class 10th in all the 8 northeastern states. Notably, NESO is a conglomeration of 8 student bodies of Assam Students Union, Naga Students Federation, All Manipur Students Union, Tuiprapa Students Federation, Arunachal Pradesh Students Union, Garo Students Union, Mizo, Zirlal Pawal and Khasi Students Union. NESO said that each state in the Northeast region has its own unique and diversified languages spoken by different ethnic groups, that indigenous language is an important marker for a community in the region. NESO opined that Hindi should remain as an optional or elective subject. NESO further urged Shah to withdraw and move and instead focus on upliftment in the indigenous language of the Northeast region. A $2 million approximately over 15 crore project readiness financial loan has been signed between Government of India and Assam Development Bank on Tuesday, Asian Development Bank on Tuesday, for designing climate resilient urban infrastructure, strengthening institutional capacity and improving municipal resource mobilization in 16 district headquarter towns in Nagaland. PRF loan will help design water supply, sanitation, solid waste management and urban roads in 16 DTHS with climate resilient features and improved access to poor and vulnerable capacity. Building of state agencies will help augment own resource mobilization by urban local bodies to improve their readiness for implementing to ensure the project and initiating sectors and institutional reforms. The signatories to the PRF for the proposed Nagaland urban infrastructure development projects were Rajat Kumar Mishra, Additional Secretary, Department of Economic Affairs in the Ministry of Finance, signed for the Government of India, and Takyo Konishi, country's Director of ADP's India's Resident Mission, signed for ADP. After signing the agreement, Mishra stated that facility would support key preparatory activities for ensuring project aimed at improving urban infrastructures and services to Nagaland and to help the state realize its economic potential. He also said that the center was committed for development in the Northeast region. Dimapur Ao Youth Organization, Foothill Ao Youth Organization and Chumukedima Ao Youth Organization representing Dimapur, Newland and Chumukedima districts have reaffirmed to stand with 2018 December declaration by ASTD, DAYO, WATSU and AKDD under then the undivided Dimapur districts to ensure rule of law and uphold our customary law to ensure justice for its bona fide members. CALT President informed that the decision was taken at a coordination meeting of three bodies held on April 11, 2022. Districts also, all the Ao entrepreneurship and business houses within the administrative jurisdictions of Dimapur, Newland and Chumukedima districts have been requested to desist from paying tax to any groups until goal for one government is achieved, and any instance of tax collection extortion should be brought to the notice of the affirmated Ao Youth Organization, and appropriate steps will be initiated in coordination with law enforcement agencies. Mokokchung Temenu District Planning and Development Board meeting 14th April held a meeting on 14 April 2022. Mokokchung Deputy Commissioner Shashank Ratap Singh stated that the meeting will be held around 12 o'clock on date 14th. Conference hall at 11 a.m. Temenu DPDP meeting to be held at DC's office chamber at 12 p.m. All members directed to attend the meeting without fail. Temenu districts to conduct District Planning Development Board meeting. The monthly District Planning and Development Board meeting of Zenopoto was held at DC's conference hall on Monday. During the meeting, the Deputy Commissioner of Zenopoto, Rahul Banudas Mali, said that the district will take up cherry plantations around the town for beautification, for which he sought support from all the departments in the district. Furthermore, a review of the last meeting agenda was also done. Meanwhile, the principal of Zenopoto Government School College spoke on the recruitment requirements of the college, whereby a PowerPoint presentation by the Chief Medical Officer Zenopoto was also given. A program to mark the celebration of Anna Yojana and public distribution system under Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav was held at the CPO Hall of Chumukedima on Tuesday with special guest Additional Deputy Commissioner of Chumukedima, Dr. Kuzoye Wadio. During the celebrations, while addressing the gathering, Deputy Director FNCS I Anungba Sanglir highlighted the brief report on PMGKAY and further stated that the Department of FNCS focuses on the successful implementation of PMGKAY. The Department of Soil and Water Conservation, Government of Nagaland, has designated Rongsan Lam Zung, Joint Director and Soil Water Conservation as State Nodal Officer for Meteorological Related Matters in review of retirement of K. Kekiho Shohei, Additional Director and Soil Water Conservation. Notably, the designated State Nodal Officer will facilitate the smooth coordination between ICAR, KVK, IMD, and the state government for providing real-time weather-related informations. Agriculture Production Commissioner Y. Kiketo Sema on Monday released a book titled Alphabet Poems and Whimsical Poems for Kids, written by Sofia Livimisu at Hotel Jafur Kohima. While releasing the book, Sema described Sofia as an extraordinary child who is doing something different and has the potential to make huge contributions to the people. Sema further congratulated Sofia's parents for fulfilling the word of God in bringing up their child in a way that it should be. The Directorate General of Civil Aviation has restrained 90 pilots of SpiceJet Airlines from operating Boeing 737 MAX aircraft after finding that they were not properly trained. DGCA Director General Arun Kumar informed that the untrained pilots have to undergo training again in a proper manner on the MAX simulator to satisfaction of DGCA, but, however, that does not restrict the operations of MAX aircraft. SpiceJet currently operates 11 MAX aircrafts and about 144 pilots are required to operate these 11 aircrafts. Out of the 650 trained pilots on the MAX, 560 continue to remain unavailable. The DGCA's move comes after 737 to 800 plane operated by China Airline crashed in mountains in southern China, killing 132 planes on board. University Grants Commission finalized its guidelines on Tuesday and made it official that students will now be able to pursue 2 degrees simultaneously starting from academic year 2022 to 23. UGC Chairman M. Jagdish Kumar informed that the program will allow students to pursue 2 undergraduate degrees. Notably, 2 degrees will be completed in either physical classroom mode or online and 1 offline or both in online mode. However, for the time being, the 2 degrees will only be non-technical programs. They are provided by UGC. Furthermore, they can be a combination of subjects from different streams, that is humanities and science and commerce, and admission will be granted depending on the eligibility of the students and the availability of the programs. Prime Minister Narendra Modi will inaugurate the Pradhan Mantri Sangharlaya on Thursday to pay tribute to every Prime Minister of India since independence, irrespective of their ideology or tenure in office. There are 43 galleries in the Pradhan Mantri Sangharlaya and integrates the Teen Murti Bhagwan designed as the Block 1. The Sangharlaya employ cut-edge technology-based interfaces to encompass heterogeneity in content and frequent rotation of the display. Holograms, virtual reality, augmented reality, multi-touch, multimedia, interactive kiosk, computerized Getty sculpture, smartphones, applications, interactive screens are installed to make the exhibition highly interactive and engaging. Prime Minister Narendra Modi and Union Home Minister Amit Shah on Wednesday paid tribute to the victims of the Jallianwala Bagh massacre. Modi, taking down to Twitter, said that their unparalleled courage and sacrifice will keep motivating the coming generations. Meanwhile, Shah, taking down to Twitter, bowed to the courage and valor of the immortal martyrs of the Jallianwala Bagh massacre. Notably, the Jallianwala Bagh massacre took place on April 13, 1919, when troops of the British Army under the command of the Colonel retired Dyer fired machine guns at the crown of the unarmed protesters and pilgrims who had gathered in the Jallianwala Bagh in Punjab, Amritsar on the occasion of Pakshi. India's Defence Minister Rajnath Singh has reached Hawaii for a brief 2-day visit to the headquarters of the United States Indo-Pacific Command. The UNICEF PECOM, the Indian military, has wide-ranging engagements including a number of military exercises, training events and exchanges. Singh will visit using DAPOCOM headquarters, Pacific Fleet and the training facilities in Hawaii before returning to India. Toronto police has arrested the murderer of 21-year-old Indian student Kartik Vasudev, who was shot on April 7 evening at the Glen Road entrance to Steerborn STTC station in St. James Tower on April 12. The police identified the culprit as 39-year-old Richard Jonathan Edwin, who was also charged with another homicide last Saturday. It is to be mentioned that Kartik was shot multiple times and succumbed to his injuries when he was rushed to the hospital. Kartik's father, Jitesh Suradev, informed that Canadian police officials has informed about the arrest. External Minister S. J. Shankar in his tweet expressed grief at the killing and paid condolences to the family. Chief Economic Advisor V. Anand Nageshwaran said oil prices outcome will depend on demanding distribution causes due to high prices, that if the prices persistently remained above 110 about barrels, about a burden sharing needs to be taken place involving the government, the oil marketing companies and consumers, because it is a global supply shock and everyone would have to bear the consequences. President Vladimir Putin, on his first public address on Tuesday, said that the peace talks with Ukraine had hit a dead end, addressing the war in public for first time since Russian forces re-entered from northeast Ukraine. Putin promised that Russia would achieve all of its noble aims in Ukraine and that the war will swirl around for longer. He also alleged that it was Kyiv drilling the peace talks by staging fake claims of Russian war crimes on Bucha and by demanding security guarantees to cover the whole of Ukraine. He further mentioned that he is absolute to win the war when asked if his operations in Ukraine would achieve its goals. Notably, he also spoke on the most important strategic conclusions, the unipolar international order which the United States has established after Cold War. He mentioned that the strategic was slowly breaking apart. Furthermore, Putin said Russia had no choice but to fight because it has to defend the Russian-speaker eastern Ukraine and prevent its former Soviet neighbor from becoming an anti-Russia springboard for Moscow's enemy. The United States is likely to announce its new military aid package worth USD $750 million for Ukraine amid the ongoing war in the country. Biden's administration is set to expand the scope of weapons providing to Ukraine, with the Pentagon looking to transfer a range of sophisticated equipment including armored HUMS, the Hotzeer cannon, coastal defenses, drones, and protective suits to safeguard personnel, and events of chemical, biological, or nuclear attack may be included in the final package. Russian President Vladimir Putin on Tuesday said that Ukraine would continue to fulfill and achieve all the goals set, minimizing losses and act rhythmically accordingly to the plans prospected by General Staff. Putin dismissed claims of Moscow's army struggling against the Ukraine resistance. He added that the operations will step speed in order to minimize casualties and that Ukraine's inconsistency during peace talks with Russia was slowing down the process. Ukraine authorities on Tuesday captured a pro-Kremlin tycoon, Viktor, who escaped from home arrest after Russia's invasion. President Zelensky posted a picture of disheveled-looking Viktor's weight handcuffs and dressed in Ukraine army uniform. A social operation was carried out by Security Service of Ukraine to nab Viktor. The Ukrainian president lauded the security agents for carrying out a fast and dangerous operation and added that the traitor will not be allowed to escape and hold accountable under the law of Ukraine. India and US called out on Taliban leadership to abide by the UNSC resolutions, which demands the Afghanistan's territory must never be used against to threaten or attack any country, to plan or finance terrorist attacks. In a joint statement issued after the India 2+2 ministerial dialogue, the two countries urged Taliban to respect the human rights of Afghans and to uphold the freedom of travel. Nagaland Board of School Education, through a notification, informed that the board is scheduled to conduct the Module 2 and 3 training on school leadership program for the heads of secondary and higher secondary institutions on April 26 via offline mode. Notably, the topics for Module 2 and 3 training are creating a mission and vision for the school headed by school and leaders and building cohort of focused education of execute the plan. It is to be mentioned that the NBSC has asked head to confirm participation, mailing at nbscmeeting@gmail by sending the details to phone number 7005684841 or on or before Thursday. It is to be mentioned that the Module 1 training will be held on Friday last, wherein 233 of the 463 heads registered attended. That is all for now. Thank you for tuning in. For more updates, keep watching Nagaland TV.
New YY Dynamite Instant Noodles. It's extra spicy. Taste that will blow your mind.
Itu teng to nipko touch brand laga hua nai gule aji apni laga